Now I've got a cylinder. So that's pretty easy, right? It is. Believe me, it is. It's very, very, very easy. Now, I'm going to show you a very basic pot. So I'm going to take you back to my experiences in 3rd grade. I'm going to just make a straight cylinder. This is not a pot. This is just the cylinder. But I'm going to turn it into a pot, and I'm going to do the simplest one I can. You guys, David, could you get me a piece of paper or a paper towel or something, please? It could be even newspaper or something like that. Here's one of the things I wasn't very much in the 3rd grade, but I remember I had a teacher like this. Hello, class. Today we are going to do creative writing, and we were going to write paragraph. You remember the parts of a paragraph, don't you? There's an opening statement of the paragraph, the body of the paragraph, and the closing statement. So you can take out your pencils and paper and you can write paragraphs. And I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Anything to get out of that class. Anything. So, let me just show you this So what I didn't realize is that I was learning how to make pots. And if she would have told you, the opening statement, if your opening statement of a paragraph or a story is no good, if the first thing somebody sees isn't any good, nobody's going to look at the rest. And this is one of the mistakes I think teachers make. I used to teach writing in the elementary schools and junior high school and stuff like that, and even in college. And one of the things that I think teachers make is if I'm reading the first paragraph of a paper and it is terrible, they go in and correct that, and then they correct the rest of the paper. No one else in the world would read past that first sentence or that first paragraph. If your first statement is terrible, nobody's going to read it, except the teacher who thinks that they're forced to read it. So if you were taking a writing class with me, or one where you're doing writing, I'd read your first paragraph. If there was things, I would explain everything, and I'd say, I will not read beyond this until you learn how to correct this one and to write well for the first paragraph. And if you need help, come and see me, I'll show you. And then I'll read the next part and the next part. But by reading that whole way, all the way through like that, what we're doing is teaching them that they're supposed to be listened to even if they can't even speak, right? So what we need to do is give the power to the audience and or the kids when we're teaching. We give the power, but we can't steal it from them, and that's how we do it. So this is my opening statement. Remember the mouth? So watch how I take this opening statement, and by just giving it a clear line there and a clear line down here, I have a very simple pot. See that? So this is my opening statement, body, closing statement. Now let's watch how it will work. And I'm going to have you experientially do this with me because it's not very hard, except that I'm falling off my stuff, but that's all right. I can deal with a moving world. But I prefer if you have it stable a little bit. So anyway, imagine that you're walking under a tree when you're somewhere, and you see a little baby bird that fell out of that nest. Show me with your hands how you would pick that bird up to put it in the nest so it will live again. Everybody's got to do it. Yeah, show me how everybody would do it. No, you can't kill it. Let me see. I got to see your hands. Where's your hands? Okay, now, we're picking up baby birds.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Now, if you thought for 1 minute, and anybody that's ever done this, but if you think about it, they're running around on the ground, right? So you pick them up like this. What's going to happen? They're going to jump out of your hand. So now go pick it up the second time. It'll get through your, the bird's only about this big. See? So you've noticed that everybody's doing a variation of this. This is a gesture, human gesture of giving and receiving. We want things to go in and out, right? This is a gesture of holding something precious. Look, a little kid, they find a little, hey, look at this is so cool. Yeah, and everybody looks in there, right? So now let me show you how that can work in making a vessel. The opening statement of a pot. This is for when you're buying pots too. Okay, if I go, ooh, holding something, whoops, no problem, holding something precious. You can see that it would have something like a lid. You see how it's containing things. I might have a lidded pot. This is a gesture of giving and receiving. So watch how just changing my gesture changes that pot entirely. You see that? And anything I do with that lip makes 100 different pots. I can just make them like that, just going up and down, right? So that's what it is. That's what I mean. See, what you learned in school in 3rd grade is really important. But nobody really actually taught it to you, so you didn't learn it. And of course, if I take the whole pot, I can change the shape of it, and I've got something else. You see? Now, look at me. Did you see me real tight? Was I using a lot of muscle? No, all I'm doing is guiding. All I'm doing is listening and guiding. That's all there is to it. So now